Hey, so I uh I lost 800 mil. Okay, but this actually wasn't my fault. There was nothing I could have done to prevent it, and for months I've done my best to have this not happen, and it was out of my control. I'm assuming some of you already know that I'm talking about banners, the super glitchy item that freaks out your game into doing some pretty wacky stuff. And to that, you would be right. And since I was part of bringing the original banners into the game, I thought I'd give a full history of Skyblock's glitchiest item. So I'm gonna give credit where credit is due, but that person doesn't want their name out there, so I'll be taking all the credit. But I got a DM from an unnamed person on Twitter and they showed me this screenshot. Them standing in the Skyblock hub with players and entities floating above them. Now at first this seemed kinda sketchy. I mean, an item that can mess with your surroundings doesn't really make sense. But when they visited my island and held out the banner, I was able to see its effects for myself. They asked me if I wanted to go and get some, and of course I said yes. I mean, I'm not gonna pass up getting an item like this. So do you guys remember the Skyblock update that added island guesting? Well, if we scroll down on that update thread to right here, new enchantment telekinesis. Now telekinesis is one of the more useful enchants. If you break a block or kill a mob, instead of the loot dropping, it'll just go straight into your inventory. And it turns out that this enchantment was one of the key components to getting banners. Now this next part requires us to be in 1.14 since if you hold a banner in 1.8 your game will just crash. Also I don't have footage of me actually getting banners, so I'll try my best to recreate what happened. So banners were actually created in the dark auction, which is actually kind of fitting that the glitchiest item comes from the black market. Please let me in, I have money. Alright, now banners didn't just show up here and they were just available for purchase. That would be way too easy. Instead, once the auction started, if you look straight up and use your aspect at the end, you would teleport through the roof and be put in the Skyblock hub. Now around 6 to 7 months ago, the dark auction had this bug where it didn't protect the map correctly whenever you broke a block. Instead of instantly placing it back like it does now, if you used a tool with telekinesis, it would actually give you the block that you broke. So what me and the two other people that showed me this did, is we ran straight to the main spawn area and started nabbing the banners off these little shop stand thing. After we all grabbed a couple of banners, we started making our way over to the spider's den. Now the reason we were doing this is because we wanted to get Endstone, and this was actually before the End Island was released, so Endstone technically wasn't even out yet. So if you come and look over here on these little honeycomb things, there's actually Endstone. Now this didn't freak the game out or anything, it was just kind of an unobtainable block that was kind of cool to have. So the dark auction I was in was actually the last possible dark auction to get blocks from, and it's been fixed ever since. I made it out with 9 of the glitchy banners and around 20 Endstone. Now I sold a couple of the Endstone on the auction house, but it didn't really sell for that much, so I just ended up holding on to it. And eventually the End update came out and it made it pretty much worthless. But as for banners, I was an idiot. I traded one to Palica for, I think it was a null mushroom block. I don't really remember. All I know is that it was a very, very bad deal on my end, and that's mainly because I didn't know the true value of them at the time. Now, I'm not the only one that distributed them. I know one other person that traded and sold a few, but the important thing is that nobody that had them abused their effects. For the most part, the effects are pretty harmless. It can mess with your surroundings, make items and chests and inventories invisible, and sometimes crash the person handling it. All of this I covered more in depth in a separate video I made a while back, but there's one thing I purposely left out of that video. Something that I know if the public knew about, banners would without a doubt be wiped from existence. These banners had the ability to crash any other player, and it wasn't that difficult either. Putting a banner in a trade menu, holding it when someone views your player profile, having it in an item frame, or even dropping it would crash anyone in 1.8, which is what a large majority of the Skyblock players use. If the wrong person had found out about this, they could have used it to crash other players for profit, like during dark auctions or spooky events. And for the 6 to 7 months that banners have existed, no one to my knowledge has abused them like this. But that was all about to change. So the Skyblock Pets update had just been released. They introduced a wide range of pets, some as like a combat boost, some farming, some fishing, you name it. Now most of them you can craft or get it as a rare drop from a mob, with the exception of 4 pets, which can only be obtained from the Traveling Zoo. The Traveling Zoo is a stand that appears at spawn every few days where you can buy 3 of the 4 exclusive pets. So as you can imagine, everyone on Skyblock was very eager to see what the zookeeper had to offer. And let's just say it was a lot more than we bargained for. You see, whenever the admins were making the zoo stand, they made one incredibly huge mistake. Instead of the stand spawning at just the hub island, it also spawned on every single loaded private island. And would you like to guess what block was on those stands? Now, the admin team was quick to fix this. I think they had everything patched in under 5 minutes, but by then the damage had already been done. Banners were back in circulation, and they were causing a lot of problems. People that found banners and tried to collect them in 1.8 were crashing every time they joined skyblock because they didn't know you had to be in 1.14. Some players were going around lobbies holding them and just crashing people. And worst of all, banners were being sold on the auction house. Now, I had always wondered what would happen if I put a banner on the AH, but in fear of myself getting them removed, I held back. But when you have hundreds and hundreds of people that now have banners, there's bound to be a few idiots. So banners were just put up on the auction house, and everyone that would try to use it would crash. Now, thankfully, no one boosted a banner to the top of the auction house, because what I believe would happen is that everyone in the lobby would crash because it's just a banner sitting in one of these display cases. So thank God that never happened. Banners were shortly removed from the auction house and added as a blacklisted item, meaning if you had one in your inventory or a chest or anything, it would be deleted forever. Now, me, being the idiot that I am, decided the safest place to keep my banners wasn't on a wall, but in a backpack. And if it wasn't for my friend Hulk, I would have lost them all. He messaged me as the patch to blacklist banners was rolling out, and he warned me about it. By some miracle, my island had not yet received the update to remove banners, and I still had them in my backpack. I was told they were safe to keep on a wall since the blacklist only looked for items and GUIs and not place blocks. And as I was placing my banners back in their display case, the game update notification popped up. I was able to get 8 of my banners placed just before the update happened, and the 2 banners that I got from the stand were wiped from existence. Now here's the funny thing. A day before banners were reobtainable, my island member got an offer of 100 million for 1 banner, but we turned him down. I've had a lot more similar offers, but I never made the deal because I didn't want an item with such power getting spread around to the highest bidder. And now that there's hundreds of banners out there, the prices dropped significantly, as some were going for around 5 mil in the auction. And now that there's blacklisted, there's no way for a banner to leave the island it's currently on without getting removed. So the banners I have now are pretty much worthless. It's still a cool flex having some on your island, but gone are the days of seeing its one-of-a-kind effects. So one thing I've always been curious about is why these banners have the effects that they do. Like, why do they mess with the surroundings and crash players in different versions? I've looked around for a bit and I haven't been able to find anything similar to this, so we had to do some investigating. Hulk stripped the MBT data from the banner a while back, and this is what we came up with. The reason we think it's glitchy is because the item we're holding is a wall banner instead of a normal banner, which kinda makes sense. I broke the banner that was placed on a wall, and telekinesis gave me that exact block, which just so happens to be a block that should never be obtainable. So that might be causing Minecraft to do some weird whatever with the code and it freaks the game out. But if any smart people have any other ideas, feel free to put them in the comments, and if you have any more questions, I'll try to answer them. Last thing I want to mention is for the people that saw my part in Fit's video and thought I lost 800 mil to the hackers, he misunderstood my tweets. It was just kind of a coincidence that they were like next to each other and he kind of just got confused. I was actually unaffected by the hacking except for the fact I was on edge for a few days. But if you're curious on what exactly happened, I uploaded mine and HBTV's perspective on my second channel, so there's a link for that in the description. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. If you want to help me regain what I lost, you can start by leaving a like and hitting the subscribe button. Also, feel free to check out my Twitter in the description. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to do outros, so I'm just gonna say bye.